This is Pete Moore on Helo Talks NYC. I have the honor and the pleasure of having two long-term friends of mine from Southern California coming from The Gym. That's right, you heard it first, The Gym. No additional taglines necessary. We're going to be talking about their ability to now become a licensor. We're going to talk about the benefits of having an umbrella organization that you can be a part of and potentially grand reopen your club as The Gym. So George and Peter, welcome to your first of many future Helo Talks, and look forward to talking shop about it right now.
Excellent, Pete. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So George, why don't you start off, you could give we could do a whole podcast on your legacy in the industry, but, give us the abridged version on, Gold's Gym to Pacific Beach with the gym and, a little bit of the milestones along the way.
Sure. I was fortunate enough to get involved with Gold's Gym back in 1983. So that might give you a little idea of how old I am, but, it was a great time. Pete, Tim, and Ed, I was grateful that they brought me on as pretty young guy. I was a CPA working for KPMG. We were given an assignment at the time. They had an offer to purchase Gold's Gym back at the time, 1983. We came in. I was pretty much the main guy on the review. We were doing a review of their records, and at the end of it, Pete, Tim, and Ed asked me to help them with their accounting controls, purchasing processes, inventory. So still working as a CPA at KPMG at night, I would come in and help them with accounting records and tax stuff and all that kind of stuff, and got way more involved. In 83, Ed invited me to be a partner in Gold's Gym Reseda. 84, I became partners in Gold's Gym Walnut Creek. 85, Gold's Gym in El Paso, Texas. And then 86, we opened our gym that's still there, TG Pacific Beach. So that's a quick
Awesome.
update on how we got to TG Pacific Beach. We were a Gold's Gym from 86 to 98, World's Gym from 98 to 2018. And we started the brand TG The Gym in 2018. So that's a quick history, lots of other stuff in between, but
Right.
at least give you a little bit of update of how we got here.
Appreciate that. And just to get Peter on here, talk about what you've been doing in the industry, and then, just kind of tease us with the conversations you had with George over COVID that led for you to become the first licensee, and then I'll ask some questions related to that.
Yeah. So I started in the gym business when I was 16 years old. I actually was hired at the gym that I own now. It was my first job. So I worked through high school, and I always wanted to own a gym from the time I was like 13 years old. When I started really working out, I knew I wanted to own a gym. So I went to San Diego State, emphasis in marketing, and was able to buy this gym from the old owner when I was 21 years old. And, I'm 45 now, so I've been doing it for a while. But just absolutely, I love the gym business. I love the lifestyle. I'm a IFBB pro in men's physique. So I still compete, and I love the gym business. But what brought me to join TG, the gym brand, is during COVID, it was a pretty rough time for gyms in California, but Southern California especially. And I just saw what George was doing. I didn't know George. I knew the name George Jackson, but I didn't know who he was. But I saw what they were doing with the brand. And as soon as I saw the brand and the logo, to me, it was like, this is the next Gold's Gym brand, the next World's Gym brand. I think it's a better, I think it's even better, but it's just such a memorable, the TG logo itself. It is like a brand like you would see on like Yellowstone, like the show Yellowstone. They got a brand.
Bro, I'm like an avid Yellowstone. I actually had a Yellowstone tattoo on my chest that I painted for my color print over COVID. Then I tattooed my entire body, my entire arm. Like so let's not go there, because that's a whole separate segment, and we're going to go down an offshoot, my friend. There was a marathon in the last 48 hours.
Well,
Out of,
Peter,
out of control.
there's lots of people at TG who work at TG that have TG brand on their body right now. So
Yeah, no. I mean that's one of the interesting things to talk about here. Not I think we're completely on track now. So we got from Yellowstone, we got to branding, and obviously
Yes.
everyone knows that what that Y in that font means. So you make a great point of the TG and the way it's put together.
Yeah.
And also the ability to trademark the fact that you could use the gym, as on the SEO, on the front of your building without another gym saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that," right? Or I'm under an infringement on the name.
Right.
One thing that I always ask people when they say, "Hey, what do you think about me buying this franchise? What do you think about me buying this license?" I always say, "Well, let me find out who the franchisor is. Well, let me find out who the licensor is, and let me find out, what their track record is, what kind of credibility they have." Um, there's a lot of opportunities that people have, and then you go to the franchise disclosure document or you go to the licensing agreement and you say, "Why would you pay anything to this group to do anything? Like, what kind of knowledge or experience do they have?" So, George, when you said you got this call from Peter and said, "Hey, look, I'm running a successful operation. Let's take pandemic away.
Yeah.
I've got this brand that I love. I got people that are wearing tattoos. Um, you're not a guy who wants to go and tell people what to do and walk around with a stick. You want to walk around with like an umbrella and say, 'Hey, man, how can I help you?'" Right? I was the accountant to Gold's Gym. I bought many, many clubs. I bought many pieces of real estate. I got more experience probably than I can put in a duffel bag. So talk about why you went to the extent, George, of saying like, "Yeah, let me put a program together. Obviously it's going to be profitable and I want to make, money. We're living in a capitalist society. Why not?" But talk about the genesis of the license.
well, I think, as you know, Pete and Peter, too. I mean, the cost to build a gym, and we own, and Peter owns his property, we own our properties. The capital outlay is not like we're going to be able to expand quickly. Um, just starting the brand in 2018, we just saw an opportunity, especially for people like Peter, and Peter can speak to this, of, independent guys that would now have an opportunity to be supported with a bigger group. As Peter knows, I'm never going to tell him what to do. But if Peter comes to me and asks, "Hey, George, what do you think about this?" Or, "Hey, George, you're doing it this way. Can you tell me more about that?" Obviously I can help there. And, my goal is really to support each of these independent operators, and Peter being a great one. And it's so fortunate to have him as our first, because I don't think I could have found a better first licensee in terms of somebody who has been doing this since he's been 16 years old, competes as a bodybuilder. And I got to tell you, Pete, runs an amazing gym, right? And
Yeah.
people like Peter are the ones we're looking for. And I know, Pete, you're going to help us do that. But if there was a perfect licensee, it would be Peter San Nicholas.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
if we were doing a case study, on some of the frustrations, Peter, that you have solved to date by rebranding the club to TG, what that meant to your members, what it means to your employees, what it means for maybe if you had an Aura ring, how many hours more do you sleep a night? Tell us, like, give us a top five, or just what ticks off as some of the things that frustration solution.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is I think over time, any business needs to get like not necessarily a rebrand, but like a revitalization. I think that after a certain amount of time, and maybe it's like 7, 8 years, that it needs some overhaul of some sort. So when I first bought this gym, Ramona Fitness Center, which was opened in 1989, so not too far after the Pacific Beach location, um, the building it needed some work. So soon after I bought it, it was like, okay, we need to reinvent this brand, this gym, and so we did that, built a new building, 13,000 square feet. But after COVID, I one thing was I have some competition that they have multiple gyms that their members can go to. So I wanted to be able to have something like that. So this was an opportunity for that. And the other thing was it was time to reinvent or rebrand the gym offering that I had. We always were more of the higher dollar, more expensive. We wanted kind of less members. And we really focused on personal training and even massage therapy and like esthetician type stuff, day spa type stuff. So it was time to change that up because the economy was changing. So I wanted to rebrand and reprice our memberships. And I think it was a good opportunity to do that when we were going with the brand TG, because the price of the typical gym membership price for TG is somewhere around, $30 to $40. And I was more like $50 to $60. So it was just an opportunity also to change the pricing and have a really good reason to do that. And even offer our members other gyms to work out at. So, I mean, that was a big part of it.
So a couple of things, and George and I know each other, way back from when I got involved. I knew about George when I was working with the Golds guys. And as we were working with Golds, we were trying to like soften the Golds image. We were trying to say, oh, it's not about strength training. Let's not put Oscar on the front because it might intimidate people. Now you kind of fast forward to 2020 to 2023. And I think over the next, foreseeable future, it's all about strength training. It's all about Olympic squats. It's all about females doing more, workouts using, barbells and strength equipment than males. So as a number of groups have kind of run away from strength training or run away from bodybuilding and powerlifting and, using weights as your conduit to getting stronger. Now it's kind of like right in front of you. So, how have you kind of used, and this is for Peter, how have you kind of used the gym as a way to say, okay, look, I might have some Olympic bodybuilders. I've got competitors in here, but I'm not afraid to say like, yeah, we're going to the gym. I'm not going to change. The gym is actually a good name, not a negative.
Yeah. So, my demographic is really 34 to 55 is like the most number of members is like 60% of our members is in that age range. But it is the most important thing, in my opinion, in health and fitness, in longevity, is to be able to stay strong. And it definitely is a change in kind of, what we're going after and looking for people that are about serious. You don't have to be an experienced like professional to work out at TG, the gym. But when you come to a gym, it's going to be a great workout because people are there to get in shape. It's not.
It's results oriented. This isn't a recreational activity.
Right. So, that's definitely been a plus. And we've gotten a huge amount of the younger population in the gym here in Ramona. We have like the whole high school comes to our gym, and it's good because they're experiencing, our facility and they're starting to work out earlier. But we also have an opportunity to teach them at the same time, like, hey, there's a gym etiquette. We want to take care of our gym and take care of our equipment. So put our weights away. So it's been amazing. We've signed up a couple hundred high school students over the last year and a half.
That's awesome. So George, when you kind of said, okay, look, you got the branding down, we got the renovation done. Talk a little bit about to potential licensees in other parts of the country besides the travel and the reciprocity, which a lot of clubs use as an upsell to say, hey, you want to work out at any one of our clubs, people don't travel as much, or it doesn't really cost anybody anything. Talk about TG supplements, talk about TG well-being and the TG cafe concepts.
Sure. I mean, after, fortunate to be doing this for 40 years, we've got good at some of the ancillary sides of the business, one of them being supplements. As a bodybuilding brand, which we've been for 40 years, I collectively used all the resources we have inside our gyms to develop a supplement line that's just for the people working out. It's not somebody who's in a contest prep. It's somebody, it takes the whole width of our bandwidth with power lifters, serious exercisers, bodybuilders, and all the supplements are formulated for gym workouts, right? So our pre-workout, our BCAAs, our fat burners, they're really formulated for the people that hit the gym 5-6 times a week. And as Peter knows, they work great. They're really good supplements, well thought out and high quality. Then, TG Cafe has been, something that goes right along with our business, right? We provide meal preps, right? So if you're a bodybuilder or if you're just a mom who's looking to get in better shape and you're super busy, you could get 3 of your meals right at our gym, either in the cafe, eat one of them there, or take 2 more with you. Or, like a lot of people do, they just pick up all their meals for the week right at our gym on Monday. So, that's a big part of
Nice.
our business. And I know Peter's probably going to get more involved in that part of it, but, we'll sell 800 meals a week in some of our gyms. So TG Cafe also offers, caffeine products. So, if you want a caffeine boost before your workout, you could definitely do that. We have our own branded coffee. So that's a little bit of a plus that not too many gyms have branded coffee. So I think we're one of the first ones there, Pete. And,
I don't think I've heard that before.
Just because we're real into helping our community, the money we get from selling coffee, we support an orphanage close to one of our gyms, and giving back to the community is a big part of everything that TG is, and will continue to be. Lastly, but definitely not least, is TG Wellbeing, and TG Wellbeing offers recovery services, also along with hormone, testosterone, peptide therapies. In our gym at Chula Vista, we also offer skincare, Botox, fillers, all those types of things. So anything that somebody that you could dream of would think about as far as their physique and the way they look, you can get it at TG.
That's great. The point that I like is that, everything you just mentioned here, you've tested, you've worked on, you've kind of noodled on it, and the licensees benefit from, that R&D and those beta tests. And also you've come up with some great partners. You want to talk about the Optimal You Optimize You partnership?
Yeah, Optimize You is a group of doctors primarily out of Kentucky and Tennessee who we partnered with great backgrounds. They're lifters. One of the doctors is a power lifter. The other one lifts every day, great shape, and they really get our audience. They know what our audience is looking for. We've customized blood panels for specifically to target our audience from 20 years old to 70 years old, and really working to optimize people's performance. It doesn't always have to be testosterone therapy or peptide therapy. It could simply be changing diets. So you get a good chance to talk to a doctor to really understand what's going on inside so you can perform better outside.
That's great. So somebody coined this term. They were talking to me the other day, and they're like, I'm experienced entrepreneurial loneliness. And they were kind of like on their own little island. And I said, how'd you do versus your competitors? This was last year. How'd you do, in the fourth quarter? He's like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how I did. I don't get any information from anybody. Nobody gives me like any kind of benchmarking. So, George, talk about what your plan is for, potentially getting everyone on the same system with ABC and some of the, feedback and KPIs and, from your accounting background, I say, look, you can't operate on an island forever, and especially in this competitive environment. So here's like an additional benefit of being part of the TG, the gym, and then Peter opine on how that's
Definitely.
worked out.
Peter and I are working on, in putting him into that network right now. We already have, we have 7 clubs, including Peter's right now. We're looking to add an 8th. And I think it's critical, right? As a CP my whole life, we talk about performance. We also want to talk about performance as gym owners, right? And we're all about optimizing our performance. And I think it's critical, right? I mean, and I think that's a huge benefit to be part of this license program where you're going to get on a call like this with multiple gym owners and get into the details, and where we can help each other. We're going to do it. We're going to support each other and work together to find the solutions that are going to optimize the gym's performance.
That actually was one of the factors when I saw the brand, mostly on like Instagram. And I thought to myself, I've taken RFC is what we call our brand, Ramona Fitness Center, RFC. I've taken RFC as far as I can take it on my own. And you can always get more done in a team. And I just felt like, gosh, I just need a little extra. I need a little extra support, a little extra accountability, maybe some other ideas. I was big into Thomas Plummer system of
Yeah, sure.
operating a gym. I mean, I love Thomas Plummer. He's great. He's hilarious. And he retired, and I don't know if anybody's taking that kind of role, but I kind of was, like you were saying, an island to myself, and I felt like it just couldn't get to the next step. And so, joining TG was one of the benefits for sure.
Awesome. And George, so you got a licensing agreement in place. I've actually read it. We're going to update it. Talk about how you set up the fees and how this kind of becomes an a la carte menu, if you will.
Right. Because the fees are simple. Peter's in early and he's in at one price, but going forward, it's $1,000 a month. So that gives you the rights to use the name, gets you all the clothing, gets you rights to get our exclusive supplements. I think a supplement's important, right? Because the only place you're going to be able to buy TG subs is in the gym, right? We don't sell it anywhere else. It's the only place you're going to get it. The only place you're going to be able to get TG apparel is in the gym, right? So I think total value add, when I think about it, because I'm an accounting guy, it's like, okay, $1,000 a month. How am I going to make that back? Between the supplements and apparel alone, I'm going to make that back more than enough in profits from just those two things. And Peter can attest that the TG brand and the apparel will sell way better than your independent John's Gym. And I feel very confident saying that I guarantee that one.
Well, I've been down there 3 times. I got 3 shirts already.
Yeah. But I think, to your point, Pete, the other big advantage is going to be the add-ons, right? So for very little money, you could add TG Cafe, you could add TG Wellbeing. So, and, we're going to be working on those fees, but it's not going to be a huge add-on, but huge revenue add-on. So, that's what's exciting. So as we've talked about here, and this podcast is going to go live about 3 weeks before IHRSA. So hopefully we are able to get the listeners here. And if you're listening now, hopefully you've invested a good 22 minutes of your time in thinking about your future. George, you want to talk about Chula Vista, how far it is from San Diego's convention, and what we've got planned for anybody that wants to come and think about, quote unquote, Discovery Day? Yeah, definitely. I first of all, anybody who is an independent operator, I really appreciate you, as I appreciate Peter. It's hard to be on your own island, and we're here to try to offer a solution where you can get on our island and we can solve these problems together. Chula Vista from IHRSA is about 10-minute drive at most. And then you'll get to see the prototype gym, that has everything in it, right? It has TG Cafe, it has TG Wellbeing. It's a gym that has over 5,000 members, almost 1,700 workouts a day. So you're going to see, a gym that operates at a very high level. I look forward to anybody who wants to come. I'd be really excited to show you it, talk to you more about the TG brand, and show you what we can do to support you. Because really, this is not about, like you said at the beginning, Peter, to get money from your accounts. We're not going to take any revenue from any of your revenue sources. There'll be fixed fees for any license fees that we do charge. And the way I look at it is, if I can't add value to your gym, then I'm not the right solution for you.
Yeah, that's great. So, Peter, in closing, maybe just you got a quote that you live by, or some takeaway that you've had from this experience that you want to share, and then we're going to get this up and have all the information on how to contact George in the show notes.
I will tell you, like, what keeps coming to my mind is that Pacific Beach gym, TG, San Diego, or, used to Gold's Gym, Pacific Beach. To me, I mean, yeah, there's only one Gold's Gym Venice, but I believe TG in Pacific Beach, or TG San Diego, is 2.0 Venice Beach. Yeah. Independent operator would be stupid not to invest $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year to be a part of that brand. To me, that was it. That's like, I got to be a part of that. And it's like the ground floor in any business. This isn't a business just getting started. These are businesses that have, 30-year, 40-year history, but got to get in. I can't stress that enough to an independent operator, back east somewhere to be a part of that brand. That is Beach 2.0. Like, come on. If you got a, gym that is similar in culture, why not?
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, look forward. I'm glad we connected. George, thanks for being an avid listener over the years on the talks. And I'm glad we're in landing formation now for Ursa and building out the TG brand. And I think, it's going to solve a lot of frustrations for independent operators. And there's no pride in going on your own if you become part of a good team, and it doesn't cost you much to do it. And you kind of get a reset on everybody, get, as Peter said, reinvigorated from your members to employees to your business partners and to the community at large. So thanks for coming on, guys. We're going to cut this up, and I look forward to seeing you in your home game advantage in San Diego as soon as possible.
Sounds great. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.